Yeah. Cool. We'll have Coach start with the opening statement, and then we'll go into his questions first.
I thought it was a big time college basketball game in a big time environment, in a big time venue. This is unbelievably exciting, day in this city with obviously the championship game of football tonight, and then this game. There's a buzz in the city, and there was a buzz tonight. I credit Indiana. Darren's a really, really good coach. Good dude. I've known him for a long time. I asked him yesterday what it's like. Give me some of the really goods and the really bads about coaching your son. And we just shared some stuff because it was, because of the sponsorship deal, we had to do an event yesterday with the other team, which is really weird. Like, you very rarely spend an hour with the other team the day before a big time game. So I got to spend a lot of time with him and just enjoy it. They're a bear to prepare for. They force you to be on it on the defensive end. Your communication, your urgency, you can't relax at any second. And I thought for the most part, our guys did that. And after a really tough loss the other day against Arkansas, we just kept preaching the response. And two examples of very, very mature upperclassmen, professional guys that approached the last 2 days the right way with the rest of their teammates. And we were able to bounce back and get a big win here tonight.
We have a couple questions for Ryan and Javon to start.
Ryan, what did you see out of you guys to be able to get that 16-0 lead? How did you feel like you came out of the game?
First and foremost, I want to give all the glory to God. I'm just thankful just to, play with such a great group of guys and for a great coaching staff. And I would just say we were just being us, just like PK touched on a little bit, just after, that loss at Arkansas, we kind of felt like we weren't us, we weren't intense, defensively or pushing the pace offensively. And I feel like, today we made an emphasis on doing that and setting the tone at the beginning of the game.
Scorer, but you guys had a couple steals, really got up into Wilkerson early, and I feel like that really spurred on that run to begin the game. Can you just talk about your mentality defensively? It seems like you want to be that guy that makes things happen.
Yeah, for sure. I take a lot of pride on the defensive end, and just being a two-way player, not being one-dimensional. And I know that, it just brings energy to the guys just to, setting a tone on the defensive end and just picking up and, just sacrificing my energy, just out there on the floor every single time, just picking up 94 feet. I know that the guys, appreciate that. And, I just, it's just a mentality, just setting the tone and being a leader on the team on both ends of the floor and just giving everything I got.
John, can you kind of take us through what you dealt with that concussion, and do you feel like this was your best game? I mean, you look like you're on heavy.
Yeah, just like Ryan said, I want to also, give all the glory to God. Wouldn't be able to, play the game that we love, with the same, this group and this great coaching staff. Just, with the concussion, it's a difficult thing to deal with, and it's a serious thing. And, trust me, with everything in me, I wanted to continue to play that next game. I just said I won. Trust me, I wanted to play that game, but, our elite, staff, Kate the Great, she just, said I had to stay out, and that's what it was. I can't fight that too much. She's the big dog besides Coach Kelsey right here. So I had to listen to her, and it's a tough thing. It's a lingering thing that just kind of you have to deal with eventually. But obviously it's a serious thing. So just continuing to stay the course and just go out there and just try to be myself to the best of my abilities.
Ryan, to come home, have this type of game in this arena in front of your hometown crowd, what was that like for you?
It's just a blessing, just to be able to play just in my hometown, just Gamebridge is, a building I've came to a lot just to see a lot of different games and, just having the opportunity to play, just on this level, during this time, it's just all a blessing. I was just thankful just to, be here and just feel the love from my family. And, ultimately, I'm just thankful we got the win.
This for both of you guys. Just in terms of, Coach said that he really wanted to see, he wanted, challenge you guys to be more physical, to be more aggressive. You two guys, definitely seem like you want to set that tone. Just kind of talk about coming from Arkansas to tonight. It seemed like you wanted to make a point that you were going to be the aggressors or physical.
Yeah, I mean, it's not always fun, but I feel like every team always has to eventually get smacked in the mouth first. And obviously we experienced that at Arkansas. They were the more physical team, the aggressor, and we talked about that all week. And we can't let that happen. It sets the tone for the game, and I think we did a really good job as a team. Our deep team today. Everybody, I don't know how many guys that we played today, but everybody that came in made an impact. But like that's got to be something that we continue to do each and every single game. It's very important. We have to start taking our matchups personal. It's just you can't do anything besides go out there and try to beat the aggressor. And you have to be in college basketball, especially when you play good teams like Indiana.
Yeah. For you, Javon, just what are the challenges of guarding 12 for them? It seems like that was the guy you started on tonight. He was still going to get that 26 points, but you did so on 5 for 14 shooting. Can you just talk about what went into your kind of a plan to guard him and try to slow him down?
Yeah, I mean, we remember him a lot from last year when we played him in the Bahamas when he was at West Virginia. Really elite player, really elite shooter. Give him a lot of credit for what he continues to do on the offensive end every single game. And he's a really good offensive player. But just kind of like I touched on a little bit ago, just being physical, being the aggressor. You have to send a message. And I think that a lot of our guys that also switched on to him tonight did a really good job of being the aggressors, getting up into him, trying to take away his shots to the best of your ability. But he still gets it off sometimes. There was one time, I'm gonna beat myself up about it for the rest of the week. I mean, it was a close game or whatever the score was, and he slipped my eyesight, went to the corner. We call it no matrix, and I definitely matrix on that one. He hit a three, and I feel that one still.
Yeah, I thought this was like a really big answer game where every time they started to kind of feel like they had a little momentum, somebody make a shot. Javon, you had a couple, Ryan, you had some, Isaac had some huge ones. What goes into that? I mean, shots don't always go in, but tonight there was an answer almost every time.
I mean, just all the time, every day PK preaches clapbacks, while the other team's celebrating, their basket and the crowd's going, we coming right back, and we get our own bucket. So no matter what they're doing, we coming right back at them for sure.
Yeah, just continuing to put in the work each and every single day, 300, 100, coach, the staff always talk about it, 300 threes, 100 free throws, just continuing to put in the work. It's going to show. Obviously, you're not going to have a good offensive night every single night. People are going to bash you if you have a bad offensive night. They're going to praise you if you have a really good one. Just continuing to stay in the gym. Just continuing to be yourself. And, we have a really deep roster, and it can be anybody's night, any given game.
Thank you, Javon and Ryan. You all can.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good
job, coach.
So, okay.
I guess just to start off with, you mentioned that play at Javon that he's going to kind of then, you mentioned beating himself up over that play. I'm just curious because you're always preaching about the next thing, but like coming off that loss Wednesday, like I guess like how did you kind of get those guys back focused into that game? Because it seems like that these moments kind of like will still stick with them as much as you try to push them towards the next thing.
It helps that we have a extremely disciplined, veteran, mature team, right? If we didn't have that, getting this thing turned around in a short amount of time after getting our butts kicked at Arkansas would have been a lot more difficult. People talk all the time about player-led, coach-led. You've heard that all the time. People say it all the time. But you see the caliber of maturity and leadership we have, and that's just two of them. That locker room's that way. So, as a coach, Kenny Rogers, the old Kenny Rogers song used to say, coach, you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. There's times you gotta ramp it up a little bit. And coming out of that deal the other night, politically correct ways, we had to have some aggressive counseling, if you know what I mean. I've said that before, but the guys responded. the guys responded. For moment one, I thought Ryan really set the tone. You talk about his 21 points and all that stuff, like at the point of attack early in the game, his bite on the ball set the tone. I mean, guys off the bench. I mean, Kobe in 12 minutes was extremely efficient. I was disappointed in him the other day. I was disappointed in everybody, including myself. But his job is to come in and raise the level of play, raise the intensity, be an elite defender for the minute you're out there, whether it's 2, whether it's 12, whether it's 15, whatever it is. And he took that personal, and I thought he gave us a big boost. Adrian Woolley, 3 big offensive rebounds off the bench that I think, just sent a message of grit and tenacity of going and biting the ball. Javon was extremely efficient. I mean, heck, everybody's going to talk about, or not everybody, but like, hey, Kel only had 9 points. That sucker guarded. He guarded today. And, he ran the team like a big time point guard is supposed to run the team. Like someday it's his day to put the ball in the basket, score at a really high level, but like he was really, really good on the defensive end. And I thought his floor game was really good as well.
Pat, what did you see out of your team from the opening tip to get out to that?
You could just see it. You could feel it. I don't know if you guys saw it. I saw it. It was just, there's a bounce in their step, man. They mentioned it. Be the aggressors. Now, I'm not saying anything disparaging about Indiana. Like they played soft, but like I'm telling you, you could feel it that we were leaning forward on the defensive end. Coming out of the Arkansas game, we fouled way, way too much, and they got way too many offensive rebounds. And by doing that, they take the I don't want to say the air out of the ball, but like we're really good when we get out in transition. We're really, really good. But if you're standing at the free throw line all the time, it slows the momentum and the pace of the game. If they're getting offensive rebounds, that's the best transition defense you can have. So again, we're taken out of the net and we're just not able to get the floor tilted and start to play out. Our guys knew that. We wanted to play with pace by getting stops, not fouling, and holding them to one shot. And ultimately, I thought we did that at a really high level today.
You mentioned Kobe's defense and him giving the boost. I was wondering.
Oh, my bad.
I was wondering offensively, we haven't really seen him take command or really be aggressive necessarily going after a shot. I should say against the games where the competition is against power conference schools. But he did that at Charleston a few times for you guys when you were there in terms of being able to score a ball.
I mean, Kobe's a really good all-around player. He can score the ball. I just liked his aggressiveness offensively today. Like he came in, they tried to heat him up in the backcourt. We called a set. He was supposed to get us into a sit. The kid's into him. He just drove right by the kid, went to the rim, scored, got fouled. Like I like that. He was really aggressive. And then, Kobe's like one of those players. He just does what the game tells him. Right. And he had a couple of those wide open looks. I mean, he's not out there hunting his jump shot, but he had space and rhythm and he knocked down 2 of them. So veteran leader that understands his role, right? He knows, he's Kel's backup and Kel needs a spell. He got 2 fouls in the first half. His job's to come up and raise the level of play for a little bit. He's been good for us.
Coach, you had a bit of a quick conversation with Kelsey before he went in the first time. I saw you kind of walk over to him and say something to him before he got out on the court today. He seems like he's getting back his timing and he's starting to kind of ramp up and do some of the disruptive things.
I mean,
what'd you say?
Yeah, in his limited minutes, I thought he went in and disrupted defensively. That's what he does. I mean, he had 2 or 3 deflections, had a block or 2 at the rim, played really, really hard. Look, that role's not easy right now, and I understand that. Like I just grabbed him by the head and I headbutted him. I'm a big headbutt guy. I said, I love you, go play hard. And I told him before the game, I can't promise you what your minutes are going to be today, but just, and he's dealing with it in a really good way. As we all know, coming off the injury and then he had the concussions and stuff like that. Like I just tell him and anybody, whether it's Zoo, who's not getting many minutes right now at all, it's just process. Every dog's going to have its day. Like it all works out at the end. So, his approach has been really, really good.
Coach, games can often be won at the free throw line, and you guys held that double-digit lead for most. But in the second half, you guys hit all 17 of your free throw attempts. How big was that in keeping that spread against the Hoosiers?
Yeah, I mean they're free for a reason. Make them, and they got to the bonus, and I thought couple times there, 6, 7 minutes left. They got to the bonus. We settled for some really deep threes when we should have gotten downhill. We kind of ran a long set just to chew some clock, and I wanted to get back to Kel and put him in space. And Isaac shot like a 400-footer, but that's fine. Isaac, I thought played really well today. I mean, he was very efficient, made some big stinking shots. Again, just like I challenged everybody, I really challenged him from a rebounding standpoint. And I don't care what his rebound says. It might say 0. I don't know, but that cat was hitting bodies today and fighting, and I was proud of his response.
Pat, you mentioned Isaac and some of the shots he hits. Darren mentioned the same thing today. Just could you feel like some of the shots that Isaac
When
hit?
Isaac McNeely has an open look, I feel it's touched by God. It's going in. That's what I feel like. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but you know, he's a weapon, and a really good all-around player and a really good athlete, a major part of this team. He's a phenomenal leader. He's a great approach every day. I mean, I know I'm like, sound like I'm, you know, peaches and roses and blow, but I'm telling you, like he's a good one, man.
You know, Fruity has really matured this season as a big and has really come on as a big time player for you guys. And
Yeah.
can you kind of talk about his maturation as a
Yeah,
player?
I mean, he's the one guy that I would say in that Arkansas game, like, you know, you know me, wanting the smoke, we want the smoke. Like he wanted that smoke, you know, and he's just gotten better and better. When you say he's matured as a big, he's a mature big already. It's just took him a little bit of time to get going. You know, it's just all new to him. Like for instance, Jimmy Naismith is rolling over in his grave right now after Sananda stepped into the free throw line with like a minute left. Because we tried to get him off the line. He turned to us. Well, you know, when he stepped in, you're allowed to do that in Europe. Like you can step in, and if the ball goes in, it counts. And so he steps in, and I'm going, what are you doing? Every coach I ever coached would come over and hit me over the head that you got a free throw violation, up 11, shooting 2 free throws. And we tried to get him off the line. I don't know why he wouldn't go. Like, you know, just, all right, stay there. Don't foul. So he didn't foul, but he steps in the lane. But it's some of the nuances and the differences of European FIBA basketball and college basketball. But we'll have a little discussion about that. But come to think of it, it won't be much of a discussion. I'll do most of the talking and he'll do most of the listening.
Coach, you talked quite a bit about the intangibles that Javon brings and how much he needs on the court. How much did you miss him not being at, 100% coming back from it?
Bond, just he's a winner. He's so darn tough. He talked about taking pride in your matchups, winning your matchup. Like he took that personal with number 12. Number 12 is really good player. And just like you heard him say how disappointed he was at the end when they ran that little quick hitter to get the hammer screen on the backside. And he is so conscientious and he's so detail oriented. When he messed up that assignment, screwed up that backside flare and let him get that 3 off, like he won't sleep tonight. And that's how Vaughn is. He just sets the tone with his seriousness of purpose every day and his preparation. He's a pro and how he takes care of his body and all that stuff. He's a winner.
And I'm sure you had confidence that your team would bounce back from adversity, but to see them actually do it in the way they came out in the first half, what does that tell you about your team?
Yeah, we're a mature team. They responded the way I thought they would. You know, we had practice here at 4:30 yesterday. It was later in the day, and we had an early game today, and we got freaking after it. And when you do that as a coach, like you hope it works. If you come in, you don't play well, or you lose the game again, then it's like, man, it was football in here yesterday, and that didn't work. Now it's like, okay, now what? So luckily it did. But even if it didn't, this is a mature team, and what you have to do is put blinders on, not listen to the rat poison, as Nick Saban says. Get back to work, get back to practice. That's the only thing you can do. And our guys did that over the last 2 days, and luckily it worked out for us with a bounce back win.
Last one here.
You didn't really lose control at the end, but they were able to make a little bit of a push there that had you made some mistakes. Did were you, when you look at that again, talk to them about that a little bit that they did at the end, because it's like I
I
said.
mean, he's got a couple threes, like number 7 banged 2 threes. He's what we call a green guy. That's like shoot first, shoot second, like no threes, just a little bit of lapse of it's just teaching moments. Like it's some good stuff that we'll be able to teach the next time we're in that situation. We better at it. Free throw, offensive rebound. My mentor Skip Prosser, he's rolling over in his grave because like free throw offensive rebounding is winning basketball. We talk about it all the time. And you're up 10, whatever it is, and ball caroms hard off the rim, you get a tip and they get it. Like yeah. Thanks for reliving that for me.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, JD.